back when I was a kid in Iraq, soccer outside the US is the biggest sport in the world. Everyone gotta follow soccer, play soccer, watch soccer. In 2007, Iraq won the Asian Cup.
Iraq are there. They've won it. Well done. The fairy tale is complete.
It was a big moment in the country's history because there was a civil war literally going in the country because of all the terrorist attacks. They were traveling between countries. One of the players threatened by terrorists. So that moment when we won the Asian Cup was big of the country history itself. I would say is a moment that ended the civil war in 2007. I remember the celebration, my family, the streets went celebrating for a week after that event. Hi, my name is Jaafar and these are the pieces that I will never sell. When I first started ever collecting, there was a few holy grails, we call them in the soccer community, that you must have, but it's very hard to get. One of them is this Japan 1998 goalkeeper kit. I got the full set, the shorts, the socks, and obviously the jersey. Japan is one of the most known countries that do always sick designs in all their kits, but the 98 with the red flames was iconic. As a collector, one of my number one or top 5 jerseys I want to get was this Japan when I first started collecting. Likely one of my friends who's also a collector, his name is Rakan, he bought that jersey and I was so jealous. I was like, bro, how do you find it? Because this jersey is impossible to find. Only few people have it and you gotta travel to Japan to find it. 2 years later, he hit me up. He was like, bro, it's the time. I want to part way with it. And I was like, I'm down. As a jersey collector, that's the absolute holy grail for me. The design, the crazy flames all over the jersey, all over the shorts, even like the socks, I got the Japan logo on them, is absolutely beautiful. And they don't make them like this anymore with all these crazy designs. I started back in 2020. For me, I started collecting soccer jerseys because I've been a fan of soccer my whole life. Growing up in Iraq, we didn't have much of authentic sources to get jerseys from, so I always get the fake ones. Since I moved to the US, obviously I have all these now outlets that I could buy from. I used to only collect Real Madrid jerseys. That's my team. Started watching a lot of YouTube videos about other people talking about jerseys and the history behind the jerseys. Let me start collect other than Madrid stuff. I started with the Premier League, obviously being the most famous. Then I started going after the iconic piece from the 90s. And that's, I would say, what got my attention. And that's my pure collection right now. I collect everything, but my favorite era and 80% of my collection is the 90s. That's where the designs and the effort was put into the jerseys. After I got so many jerseys and I started having a lot of duplicates or a bunch of bundles and stuff, let me start selling them to afford buying my own jerseys. I started only buying $20 jerseys. It was good. As a college student, I don't have a lot of money, obviously. Once you start collecting and go deep dive with the soccer community and all the other soccer collectors, that rule's gone. If you want the grails, you gotta pay for them. I moved to LA from Washington after I graduated to do this full time. We gotta pull up one of the most iconic sponsors in football history. We got the Nintendo sponsor with Fiorentina back in the 90s. It's Nintendo on a soccer jersey, the colors, the design. This one is specifically the most beautiful design. We got the sleeves, the gold, but also the player on the back, the iconic Batistuta, the Argentinian striker, with his iconic celebration. If you play FIFA back in early 2000s, you will have his celebration, Batistuta on the back, Nintendo on the front. 2 or 3 years with Nintendo, and they never sponsored another team since. The time that I started business, it was in 2023, I'd say. It was alright. People were just buying jerseys for the block core movement. Then the US World Cup got announced is gonna host. The boom started actually happening. In the last year and a half, people started buying so many jerseys, especially in the US. So I used to sell to Europe. How this World Cup coming back to the US, a lot of people are hyped. A lot of people started even following soccer like they did in '94 when they started. A lot of people got into soccer. This World Cup also got a lot of new fans to the sport. It's not my earliest memory of football, but that season specifically, I remember it fully. All the moments, we won the league.
Real Madrid are the 2011-2012 champions of Spain.
Is the Real Madrid 2011-12 season with the breaking 100 points. My God, Cristiano Ronaldo, the famous iconic celebration of the Calma Calma in a Clásico against Barcelona.
He's beaten the defense, he draws Valdez! Cristiano Ronaldo with a platinum touch!
He was always wearing a long sleeve kit, so this one was my top priority when I started collecting. It's also one of the hardest jerseys to get. Obviously, you can get it, it's not as rare, but it's very hard to get in a good condition, long sleeve. But for me, I had to have this collection. I will never sell it just because of the significance that it means to me as a Madrid fan. One of the nicest memories that I have as a kid. I talked about the 2011-12 being like meaningful to me is the identity, but as a Madrid collector, there's one kit that is the most beautiful Madrid jersey ever designed. It just, everything, when you think about Madrid, it's in that jersey. The 1998-99 jersey, home jersey in long sleeve. This jersey just for me is Madrid. When I look at it, gold, navy, the white, obviously with the iconic Teca sponsor as well from the 90s. We got Sanchez on the back. This is a player issue jersey, so this is not available for the fans. The legal logo on it. This is only for the players, the size of the players. So this is one of the coolest things I was looking for since I started collecting, as going into the player issue match worn. And for me, this is the most beautiful Madrid jersey that I ever created. One of the jerseys that I will pay whatever money there is the Iraq 2007 jersey by Umbro. It's a template, Umbro logo, and put the Iraqi logo on the other side. That's about it. No design, plain white tee. If I buy a template from that year and just stitch a badge, that's the jersey. As to my knowledge, it was not sold to the public because the country was under war. There was no outlets to buy the jersey. Only the players had them, and they had 1 or 2 kits that they were wearing every game. So all the existent copies of that jersey is on the hands of the players. So there's only very limited, a few of these, and it's impossible to find. Even some players don't even have them. Either they donated them or sold them. If anyone have that jersey and wants to sell it to me, feel free to contact me. Another one we got today is this iconic Club America 1994-95 home shirt. As people know, the Mexican League are famous for their sponsors. They got sponsors all over the jerseys. And one of these clubs is obviously a Club America with their iconic Coca-Cola sponsor. This like Phoenix kind of design in the 90s with the middle badge. Fun fact about this jersey, it's available in 2 versions. I got personally the fan version, when you can find at the club stores, you know, both sides like that. But we also got in the archive the players version, what the player wore in the game with the big central badge, back sponsor on the back, obviously with a number. This what the player wore. So there's a small difference with the badge being like very big. That's the most noticeable one. But the design is absolutely beautiful on both. A lot of people, especially like all around the globe, when they buy soccer jerseys, they only buy it for their club, their nation, you know, that's the pure aspect of it. But in the US, back in 2021, I would say the blockcore movement came, the fashion aspect of it.
It's called blokecore, an outfit that usually consists of baggy jeans or jorts, Adidas Sambas or Gazelles, and of course a retro football jersey.
People start normalizing wearing soccer jerseys in public with jeans, with shorts. In 2010s, people see like someone wearing a soccer jersey in public with jeans. That would be weird. Now is the fashion trend. Some big names like Kanye, Travis Scott, all the fashion icons that people follow, you know, they see them wearing these soccer jerseys. People start normalizing wearing soccer jerseys. People start like looking for them, you know, and the whole blockcore movement started. That's why people like now they're looking only for the fashion aspect, not for the club. A lot of people don't follow soccer, especially like in the vintage community. I would say in the US, they will buy the jersey based on the design itself, not because of what club, what's like all the moment, just pure design, iconic sponsors, you know, that's what like the fashion aspect of it. Another jersey we got from my collection that will never sell is this iconic Borussia Dortmund 1994-95 away kit. Back in the 90s, Nike and Dortmund were killing it. Every year there's a banger, but they never did a lot of white kits. Dortmund's colors are a yellow. Sometimes they will change it to black, but when they do the whites, these are always bangers. As a collector, these are very rare to get. You gotta get them from specific collectors. You won't just find them online laying around, you know what I mean? Getting this with an early Nike design here in the middle with the stars. But they tried to recreate it recently with Puma, which didn't hit the same because it's not the same fit, it's not the same designs. Obviously being Nike, they just copied the template. So to announce this World Cup, I know it's gonna be hype in the US. Me and a couple of my friends, we opened our first store. It's gonna be for the World Cup period, 3 months, starting May actually in West Covina. It's gonna be World Cup experience. We're selling jerseys, watch parties. We have a 100-inch TV. So my main website, galacticsoccerkits.com. That's when you find all my listings, all my supplies. You can also find me on Instagram, the football shirt guy _. That's where I post all my collection, my stuff for sale, early birds, stuff like that. That's my main social media.